Here we have a model of the spinal cord. The first thing you notice on the model of the spinal cord is that the outside of the spinal cord is white matter. So all around here we can see the white matter. All around here we can see the white matter. Down inside you can see the gray matter, and that's this darker color here, the gray matter. Now what is white matter? White matter is just a whole bunch of myelinated fibers. And so on this model you can see those fibers right here. These white wires are representing the myelinated fibers, which have a whitish appearance. If you put thousands to billions to millions of them in here, you're going to have, it's going to give a white appearance, and that's why it's white matter. We also have spinal nerves. This is the spinal nerve coming out here. This is the spinal nerve coming out here. And here's a spinal nerve. And here's a spinal nerve. On the spinal nerves we have roots. Here is the dorsal root. Here is the ventral root. The dorsal root has a swelling in which we find a lot of cell bodies, and that swelling is called a ganglion. And since it's in the dorsal root, it's called the dorsal root ganglion. Dorsal root ganglion. Two other structures that we're responsible for are grooves associated with the spinal cord. Right here is a groove, and this is called the posterior median sulcus. Sulcus tells you it's groove, posterior tells you that it's on the back side, and median it's on the midline right here. How do we know that this side of the spinal cord is the posterior side? Well, that's the same side as the dorsal root ganglion. Dorsal, posterior on humans is the same thing. So here's the dorsal root ganglion, therefore this is the posterior median sulcus. Down here we have the anterior median groove, but it's such a deep groove it's called the fissure. Anterior median fissure right here. On this model you can't really see the difference, but on the actual spinal cord there's a significant difference in that this is a much deeper groove than is this. So key to the spinal cord is learn where your dorsal root ganglion is, and then that will help you with your orientation to posterior median sulcus or anterior median fissure. Right down the center of the spinal cord is a little canal represented here. That little canal runs the length of the spinal cord and is filled with cerebrospinal fluid. We have what are called horns of the gray matter. Here is a horn, here is a horn, here and here. These are the dorsal horns, these are the ventral horns, and of course the dorsal horns are going to be on the same side as the dorsal root ganglion. So dorsal horn, ventral horn, ventral horn.